where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. And so today, I want to share 6 food combinings for older adults. Yes, remember that I'm your host, Grace Enemali. So why was it necessary for me to go live on this? There are a few comments and questions regarding this subject, because a lot of people are not yet convinced, either because of lack of knowledge or because they have not reached the age, because there are certain things that you may not understand very well. You will only understand it in parts. Yes, most of the foods that we combined together while growing up, most of the foods we enjoyed as young stars, while we are getting to the age 50, 60, 65 and above, most of such foods, when we combine them together, we may not be finding it palatable again. And so that is why it became necessary to be here today again. Number one of such popular foods is rice and beans. Yes, a lot of us love rice and beans together. As a matter of fact, it took me a long time to agree that it is time to stop combining rice and beans together. That was a question, a comment, very, lengthy comment on this subject. While going to one of my videos on the issue of combining rice and beans, it was a very long comment, and I thought that person needs to hear this one also. And so, rice is one of the very common and popular grains we love a lot. And beans also is a source of protein and some carbohydrates. Rice is a source of, most especially the unpolished rice. When I'm talking of rice, I'm talking of the unpolished rice, because most of the rice we have in our markets today are polished rice. Have been, ripped of most of the vitamins, which makes the rice a special and healthy food. And so when we are talking of rice, it's not about the polished, highly polished imported rice. Rice is supposed to be a source of big group of vitamins. And on a normal day, rice is easily digestible. While growing up, it was one of the cheapest and best combinations when you combine rice and beans. It does not only taste nice, great, it made a good combination, because most of the poor families could not afford meat, beef, and animal proteins. And so they raised their children combining, because we need proteins to survive. Remember that protein is the building block. Children a lot, they need it for their bones, in case you are not aware. And so we were fed or raised with wonderful combinations like rice and beans. If, as a matter of fact, no meat, no fish, sometimes no tomatoes. And if you are blessed to have crayfish, it would make, in fact, that's a special day. That was how bad it was. And we were raised with rice and beans, we enjoyed it. So while growing up, it was one of my best delicacy. Talking of combining rice and beans, I loved it so much. Even while I was an adult, a mother, I was still cooking it. And as a we normally consume everything. Anytime the rice and beans is prepared, Remember, our parents were not cooking it with fish, crayfish, and all the things we normally add during our own days. And so when we cook it this way, it made a very beautiful and tasty delicacy for the family. So we'll eat, consuming it. Despite a few information out there that the combination may not be the best, but some of us, like some of you are doing, ignored it. We continue to consume it. But I tell you, rice is mildly inflammatory. It's an inflammation causing. Beans itself is inflammatory. This is one of the core reasons why it became obvious to me that the two shouldn't go together. Having used it, trying to manage blood pressure, it didn't work. Manage somebody with high blood pressure, it made the matter worse. And so whenever I come to such conclusion, most times maybe I have put it practically to test, and not once, not twice, and found out that it was not helping the blood pressure of that person. Neither was it also helping the blood sugar of the diabetic, because rice is a source of sugar. It's a source of carbohydrates. Beans is also carbohydrates. And so we combine two carbohydrates together. But while growing up, our bodies as young children didn't care about all these. As a matter of fact, we even need more of it. We needed more of it. We didn't bother whether it was combined with gari or whatever. Our body could cope with it anyhow. But while we grew up, we thought we could still get away with such combinations. But like I said, two of them are inflammation-causing food. And when I talk about inflammation-causing food, now most foods, even the rest of the foods, when taken in excess, causes inflammation. But the second reason why combining rice and beans is one of the worst food combination for older adults. Those of you who are doing it, maybe your grandmother in the village, you're still cooking rice and beans together for her. You need to stop it. It's not helping her. When you are trying to prepare the rice, combine it with either egg, which has anti-inflammatory properties, which will help to fight inflammation. Combine it with foods like egg, which contains complete amino acids. Combine with foods like egg or meat or fish or sardines or other animal-based protein, which will help its absorption, which the synergy will help to fight diseases. Not to combine it with another plant-based, which also aids inflammation, such as beans. I recently had a report from an older adult who is over 60, who complained of gastric problems, severe gastric problems arising after consumption of rice and beans. But that is a story for another day. Some of us, some of you listening to me, you never learn something until you learn it the bitter way. And so many of us were in it like that, because we're enjoying that food while growing up. Even after you have read, after you have heard, valuable information that the two doesn't go together. Many of you continue to consume and prepare them together for whatever reason until you learn it the better way. You may be getting away with it. Yes, not as if it's going to cause anything very, very serious. But the point is that when you combine the two, they are not the best combination, because the body needs 20 amino acids, and 9 of them, we are told, must come from the food you eat. And most of these food are animal proteins. But most times you combine rice and beans together, just take it. It's one of the worst for older adults. And in case you're wondering, what should we combine together? You can combine rice and chicken. You can combine rice and egg. Rice, vegetables, low-calorie vegetables, tomatoes, cayenne pepper, and you can combine it with egg, even with sardines. It's okay. Food that contains complete amino acids. Even your beans, which you can normally combine with rice. Several years ago, I never agreed that combining egg and beans makes a good combination. Until now, you can combine your beans with egg. You can even have, if you have fish, add fish to it. If you want to add meat, go ahead. You will observe a positive feeling in your body. There are certain constipation that are caused. I am a testimony of what I tell you. Sometimes you consume certain foods. I tried consuming beans and egg, which is I thought was one of the worst before. I mean, beans and meat. So how can the two of them will be too hard to digest? That was idea. That was the idea then. Now I thought it will be very difficult because two of them are protein. My dear, even your beans contains a high amount of carbohydrates too. So it's not just protein as you're thinking. It contains fiber. You can take it with your egg. Take it with anything, fish, even meat, but not with rice. I see a lot of you combine eating beans with fried plantain. Even very old women. I do watch some videos. I see them. Maybe it's for content. I don't know. But I see older women being served with fried plantain and cooked beans with red oil. And most of them, I normally see that they are not in the best state of health. Yes, because of poor combinations, combinings. Beans and rice is one of such. That may be a bad news for some of us. Bad news to some of us. But beans and rice is not a good combination for older adults. And even if you must combine it for your children, because it doesn't really matter for them. You should still need to add either egg to that meal, fish, or meat, whichever. Because in those days when we were being fed with this rice and beans, the beans was considered as the best and the only protein that we could get. Because there was no even sufficient resources to add meat and fish, because meat was something considered, of course, for the very high class. And sometimes we were even deceived that children should not eat meat. Whereas it is actually the children that need more of the meat than any other person. So the next combination again is roasted plantain and peanut. Bad news to some of us, including myself. Yes, even up to today, I still pinch on the peanut and the plantain, not roasted anyway, and the unripe plantain a little, because at times you wonder, what should you eat then? But once this is done consistently, it won't be long. You will experience a very serious joint issue. Talking from experience. Because two of them are two foods that are so tight. I mean, we are looking for foods that will help our blood circulation. Food that will not clog our arteries. Peanut does it very well. It's one of the foods that is so tight. It has ability to even make the arthritis very painful and even create one if there was none existing, because it's acidic. Talking of peanuts. And then the unripe plantain is very healthy food, one of the healthiest for the adult. But then when you now combine it start combining it with peanut, it tastes great and tastes nice and very filling. That is the very attraction to most of us, because it's quite filling. Maybe pre-diabetics and diabetics. You are wondering, what can you now eat to even feel full and just have that energy to keep you going? And so most times you look at it that peanuts and roasted plantain will make a very perfect one. And up to today, as I speak, only sparingly, because you know that they're not the best of combinations. If you continue to combine it again and again, the acid buildup will begin to mount. And the ugly thing about most of these things is that while it is going on inside our body, many of us are not aware of it. So we go ahead eating it, because tasting, only for you to wake up one morning to discover that you could not move one of your hands because of the way the thing hooks your joint. You'll be wondering why. Where is this one coming from? Most times it happens suddenly, because the peanut will block the blood from moving. The plantain does the same, because it's a resistant starch. It moves slowly. It digests slowly. It does not allow, that. As a matter of fact, if you consume it in the morning, like I like to take the unripe plantain in the morning, it acts as a blocker. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It acts as a blocker. And what does that mean? Blocking the easy flow of sugar into the blood. When you take it in the morning, that's the best time I take it, unripe plantain. I eat as much as I can. I feel like it acts as a blocker. In those early years when we were experiencing stomach ulcers, I remember that some people were giving me remedies, say, scrape unripe plantain and drink the water. There were so many, then, several years ago, looking for remedies. Say, scrape the water of the unripe, drink it, do this, do that. I can't remember doing that anyway, because some of the remedies and suggestions were they sounded so awkward that I didn't just feel like trying them. But one thing I can assure you, and I know today, is that the nutrients in the unripe plantain act as a blocker, whether you eat it raw, as some of them, or whether you boil it, which I normally do. But the worst, don't fry it. And when boiling, boil with the peels, because there are nutrients also in the peels of the unripe plantain. So you boil it with the peels, and then you take it. If you take it in the morning, it acts as a blocker. Now imagine combining two blockers together, which you know that the peanut behaves the same way. And the worst part of the peanut, it's not a food, it's not a circulation enhancing food, the circulatory food I call it. There are foods that aids blood circulation. And so when you combine the two foods that does not support blood circulation, and you do it over a short time, you're going to start experiencing joint pains. That's what I meant when I said some of you are already going through joint pains. Some of you are not up to 60 like me. You're already going through severe joint pains. You can't move your joints, but you are still consuming that particular food. It's causing and aiding the disease, the problem. When you are going through such things, you take off from such foods, stop them, and focus on food that will allow blood to flow to that point. Because if you want to heal of any disease, blood must get to that point. Blood must get there. It is blood that is needed. It is blood that will carry the nutrients to that place. And so if you are consuming food consistently, because why the word consistently is necessary, because once in a while, we periphery on it, including myself, so that you don't think it's poison, is something, don't go there at all. No, because I cannot keep such rules myself. But one thing is certain, that once in a while, you are consuming it, the unripe plantain, and you are taking the peanut, you have it at the back of your mind. Have the knowledge that these are not best combinations. And even if you do, before you start causing problem, go look for something else to dilute it. There are so many foods like that. You can take cucumbers. I often do that. When you do long throat like me, long throat, you see something, you don't feel like eating it, even though you know they're not the best. You take it, and after consuming it, you start wondering, what should you take to dilute it? There are so many drinks. I have them here on the shelf. You can prepare any of them. Maybe your mint tea. You can take cucumber. It's an alkaline food. You can take any of the citrus. You can even begin to chew some cloves to begin to aid in fact, let me tell you, in the village in those days, the older adults, there are certain food they don't eat together. It's today that we are eating anything. They were not as educated or as informed, but when they want to eat peanut, they make a peanut butter comprising of peppers. They combine it with peppers, and they combine it with something like alligator pepper, cayenne pepper, just peppers. And then in addition to combining it with peppers, they now bring garden egg or eggplant. Have you wondered why they do like that? It is because eggplant is low in calorie. Eggplant is a vegetable. Eggplant will not clog your arteries like plantain will do. They take it together. As a matter of fact, where I come from, they use it in serving visitors. Just like you do serve people with biscuits today and cakes, which is giving a lot of oral problems, blood sugar issues, toothaches, and the rest. In those days, when people visit, they serve them with peanut butter and eggplant and some other, healthy foods. And they were living to 90, 100 years without any surgery or any type of major health issue. But today, despite all the exposures, all the things we have at our disposal, all the herbal remedies we are seeing, you see a lot of people crying out for diabetes, crying out for high blood pressure, crying out for arthritis, crying out for high cholesterol. Because of all this, we're combining the wrong food. You see old woman, they will fry plantain, fry stew, serving her with beans and the rest of it. So let's take note of this number 2. Number 1, rice and beans. This one, plantain. Then number 3 is beans and yam. Yes, we love it. I've stopped that one for so many years. I've even forgotten about yam and beans, because yam has a very high glycemic index, and all the diabetic, anybody that is a diabetic or pre-diabetic and is doubting this message should go and prepare the yam and beans and be eating. Now, some of you are saying, which I do agree, some of you are saying it depends on the quantity. Yes, there's a lot of sense in that. But then, how many of you will eat a good food that you love? You are hungry. Your stomach is ready. Your mouth is ready. Your appetite is ready. And you won't want to eat and be satisfied. How many people can take that risk? It's a risk. It's a temptation. When you are alive and well, the appetite is there. That's my own belief. Your stomach is ready. I think the best thing is to eat until you feel you're okay. That's what I do. Because all this moderating little by little, take this, what may be good for some people, one slice of bread. Some people, one slice of sweet potato is okay. Some people, if they don't eat 2 large potatoes, they are not okay. It all depends on how you were raised. It all depends on how you have been, your system, what it is used to. So you do not have to follow too much of dietary prescriptions, because a lot of people come and say, give me a list, a guide. What I say, I don't have. When you have the food and you have the appetite, just feel good and enjoy yourself. Don't be too much restrictions. I do not agree, because there comes a time when they may be begging you to eat that food, and you may be like, please just manage now, take 1 spoon. So what would you say then? If you were robbing yourself of all those opportunities to enjoy healthy foods and delicacies. And so, yam and beans, some of you are still combining it. Yam is high in glycemic index, not a food for diabetics. You should be aware of it. Doesn't matter how you love it, how long. Then the beans is also another high carb food. And so they shouldn't go together. It shouldn't go together. It's one of the food that you are combining that is not okay.